Hi, Tony. John Mathis here.
Hello, Johnny. How are you?
I'm old, Tony. I'm all right.
You know, when I think of the greatest male voices of our lifetime, I think Frank and Tony and Johnny, and not in that particular order. You were all so unique and instantly recognizable. Did you ever feel like you were competing with them at the time?
Oh, my gosh, no. I've always had this little kid attitude because there was always somebody that I looked up to and I said, oh, boy, wouldn't it be nice to be like that? And they were people like Tony Bennett, Billy Eckstein, Nat Cole, you name them. And Frank Sinatra, of course, was right up there. And, you know, you sit around like everybody else does. You listen to them and said, oh, that's the greatest singer in the world. And to be mentioned in the same breath is quite flattering. And but my dad was my best pal, and he was the one that I really, really listened to. He had 7 kids, but he also sang, and he was the reason that I sing today. He was my best pal, and I loved his singing. Of course, nobody ever heard him except us kids.
You think of your dad while you're singing all these great songs?
Absolutely. I remember him being absolutely floored because from the time I was about 8 or 9 years old, my dad used to drive me around the city of San Francisco looking for a voice teacher. And I said, Pop, I don't need a teacher. You're my teacher. He said, no, son. We have to find somebody, you know, and on and on and on. And for years we did that in his car, I remember. And we would talk while we were driving around. And finally we did, fortunately, find a wonderful, wonderful voice teacher. And I worked with her for many years. And she was a blessing in my life, absolutely.
You've worked with so many great people in the music business, from writers, arrangers, producers. Did you ever try to write melody or write lyrics yourself?
I'm so bad. I cannot tell you how much respect I have for people who write and perform in so many different ways. But I do remember one instance coming back from Brazil on the plane because it was such a long trip. And I said, I'm going to try writing some songs myself. And I sat down in my chair on the plane, and for hours and hours and hours, I wrote stuff down. And then years later, I don't know what it was, the occasion, but somebody handed me all of that stuff that I wrote down while I was on that plane. It was so bad. I mean, I was a grown man at the time, too. But no, it all comes from a higher power than I ever would hope to have. And all the blessings that we have as whatever we do are blessings, and you can't just do something else by yourself because it just doesn't work out that way.
Tell me about your band. Tell me about the orchestra that you're bringing on the road with you for the songs of the great new American Songbook.
Well, most of the 4 core musicians that I have, my bass player, my drummer, my piano conductor, and my guitar player. My guitar player, Gil, and I have been together. This is our 45th year, I think. And that's older than most of the people who come to see me. I also have a wonderful drummer and bass player that have been with me over the last 20 or 30 years. And so we're a team. I can't even remember some of the songs sometimes that I really like to perform. And they are right there to tell me, oh, how about this one? Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Let's do that one. Because, you know, you get into a rut, you just do the same old songs all the time, and I love experimenting and doing new stuff. So that's one of the great pleasures that I have working with musicians for so many years. They know a lot about my music, and they have preferences, too. So that's a big help for me in choosing the songs that I sing every night.
When you do the 12th of Never with your guitar player, it's just incredible.
I think it makes it a little bit newer, a little bit more accessible. Take some of the stuff away, some of the sounds, and just leave it bare. Just the guitar and the words and the melody. And thank you very much. I enjoyed that aspect of this performance. Yeah.
Christmas music. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas was the 12th most played Christmas song this year. Did you know that?
No. Oh, how wonderful.
Of all the radio stations who play Christmas music, you know, there are radio stations that go all Christmas at Christmas time. That song, your song, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas, got 27,146 plays on the radio.
Oh, my God. Oh, my father would die. He would love it. He was my mentor. He was the guy that I wanted to sound like. And, oh, what a blessing.
And
thank you so much. I was hoping that would happen because Christmas, of course, is a time, coming from a large family like I do, when we reveled in it. And to have my music played at Christmas time is the biggest blessing in the world.
And you did that in 1986 for your Christmas Eve with Johnny Mathis album. Those songs are they're timeless, right?
Yeah, well, Christmas comes every year, you know, and you got to have those songs. I love it. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about the new American Songbook. And how do you choose 11 songs out of so many great songs? How did that process go?
Well, you know, I have a pal who was very instrumental in my life as a singer. His name is Clive Davis. He was, when I was a little kid, he was the president of Columbia Records. And he was a big fan of mine. And after he left Columbia Records, he also never left being my pal. So he called me a couple of years ago and wanted to get together again for dinner, and I sang for him on every year that around Christmas time, I think it is. And he said, "Oh, let's do something together." And he was the genesis of that album. He suggested the songs, and I'm very grateful to him because I love the new album.
So many great songs like Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. You Raise Me Up, I Believe I Can Fly, Hello, Run to You, all great songs. Do you get to do them all in your show?
You know what? I haven't been able to figure out how to go about it yet, and I don't know why, but we're working on it because I love those songs, and I love the new technique in recording. There's a lot going on behind me, if you notice.
Yeah, there is. There is, but nothing. But nothing ever gets in the way of your voice. Your voice always is so pure, and when people see you live, there's something that you do, Johnny, that needs to be taught to every singer out there, and that is mic technique. When I watch you sing, and I watch where you place the microphone while you're singing certain notes in volume and pitch and stuff like that. It's just perfect, and nobody does that. Everybody sticks the microphone in their mouth, or it's too far away. Where did you learn that? Did you learn that from your dad or from your teacher?
Everything that I do now, that's the beauty of starting at an early age like I did. I never forget all the little lessons that I learned along the way, and of course, the most important thing when you do in-person performances, of course, is mic technique. How I learned it, I will never know, but I've been a kid all my life. I still feel like I'm learning, and I find people who do things really, really good, and I go learn. I want to learn how to do that, Pop. And I used to check everything with my dad. Like, don't you think I should learn how to do that? Oh, well, yes, son, of course you should, you know. And that's about how things happen. Mic technique, and God bless you for, reminding me how important it is. Yes, very, very important. And I wish I could tell you, but very much like everything else in my life, I've learned it from somebody who did it perfectly, and I said, good, that's the way I want to do it.
When the return line in Misty On My Own, and you start with that microphone. Yeah, and that microphone, you start at your waist and bring it up. It's like incredible. It just blows me away. And like I said, I think everybody should learn from you because you learned it somewhere, but the up-and-coming singers need to learn from some of the great vocalists that are still around today, like you, Johnny.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you. You know, a lot of the, I must interject that a lot of the singers nowadays write all their own stuff, so sometimes they're not really singers, but they record their stuff because it's more lucrative that way, and God bless them. But I was very lucky. I had a lot of really good voice teachers early on, and thank you very much for that.
And there are so many new tricks in the studio that can be done today that weren't done back then when you recorded those songs. So you really had to be a good vocalist, because now, there's pitch control and there's, all these kind of fancy electronic technology things that can make someone who doesn't sound very well singing sound good.
Yeah, you know what? The other thing is that eventually you do have to go on the stage in front of everybody and repeat it and do it. So I prefer to learn it and be able to, repeat it over and over and over again in that respect. A lot of techniques audibly that they do on records, and you can't repeat them in person because they're done, with tricks and things of so when I choose to sing some of the recordings that I've made over the years, it takes me a little time to try to figure out how we're going to kind of reproduce it. And
well, you've had a lot of practice.
I think I better learn how to do some of my new stuff. I've been working on it, believe me, but hopefully maybe next week I'm going to Florida. I can practice.
You've had a lot of practice. 68 albums?
Oh, my goodness.
I was reading, I'm not sure if this is true, but on Saturday, April 21st, your legendary Lost 1982 album, I Love My Lady, comes out?
That was wonderful, and it's very true. So many of the recordings that I made over the years have gotten sort of lost. There was also a reason that the recording companies released music at a certain time, and that was one of the times when they decided not to release what I had recorded with, I can't remember his name right now. Wonderful singer-songwriter.
Nile Rodgers or Bernard Edwards?
Nile Rodgers.
From
Nile
Chic.
Rodgers and Bernard Edwards.
Yep.
Yes. But Bernard's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he and Niles, I can still see them sitting behind the window in the booth, listening to me, saying, "No, sing it this way, John. No." And what a wonderful, wonderful time that was. It was the only time that I ever recorded, and then at night they invited me back to go with it in the car to some venue. And on the way in the car, they would play me what I had recorded that afternoon, all finished and all done beautifully. And I would just, over the moon, that was the most wonderful thing, is to sing in the morning or in the afternoon and then hear it completely, done beautifully in the car that evening. So that was a wonderful, wonderful time. And Niles, of course, is very much with us, and I talk to him all the time. He's the most wonderful man and so talented.
Very, very. So it's Saturday, June 16th at the Hanover Theatre here in Worcester. It's a beautiful theater, Johnny. You've played probably every one of them, maybe 10 times or more. But we're so lucky and so happy that you're coming to Worcester Saturday, June 16th. There's probably maybe one or two tickets left because it just, it goes so fast. You're such an icon in the industry. And I bought tickets for my mom. She's 81. She can't see that well, so we're going to be in the second row.
Hot dog. I love it.
We look forward to seeing you here in Worcester, Johnny. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Tommy.
God bless you, and stay well.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.